Well, it happened. Congress decided to do it again. They provided a 2-day stopgap bill for the government funding. This means the government will not shut down tonight at 12:01. They will stay open all weekend. Now, this was previously expected not to pass. We had multiple members of the Senate say they will not support a short-term stopgap bill. They won't support it until the Senate addresses the need of the $1,200 stimulus check. Well, Bernie Sanders was the most notable senator to come out and say publicly that he will block a short-term stopgap bill. Well, the one person standing in the way was Bernie Sanders, and he quickly withdrew his objection to this short-term stopgap bill, which meant the bill passed unanimously through the Senate. That means, okay, what does this mean for us? Yeah, you probably want, who cares what's going on for them, right? They just want to make sure that they get paid. Well, for us, the American people, first, what this means is our congressional leaders are going to continue to negotiate not only the $1.4 trillion government funding bill, which is still based on reports, there's still some minor issues there, but they're going to continue to negotiate and come to an agreement on this stimulus package or COVID relief package. That's what we know right now. According to Steny Hoyer is the House Majority Leader. He says there are still some significant issues outstanding. That's not great to hear, being that this was the deadline, when actually technically last Friday was the deadline. So now we're still seeing that there's some significant issues. That's not good. He also stated that lawmakers should not expect a vote on this until sometime after Sunday at 1 p.m. So that simply means that our congressional leaders will continue to work on this and get somewhat closer to a final resolution and a final agreement, hopefully tonight, most likely tomorrow. They're going to work on it tomorrow. They're going to spend Saturday hashing out the details and hopefully coming to some sort of an agreement. Well, second thing we know, according to multiple reports out today, is that some high-ranking members of the Senate don't believe a deal will get done by Sunday anyway. They say, according to Mitch McConnell, he says that they are making progress and that the Senate will be right here until an agreement is passed, whenever that may be. So, he's not coming out and saying we're going to have a stimulus deal, we're going to have a vote on Sunday. No. That's not what he's saying. He's saying we will be here for the foreseeable future until a deal is done. Now, if they don't come to an agreement by Christmas, are they still going to be in Washington? I doubt it, but we will see. Hopefully, we don't get there, but at this point, I'm not so optimistic that a deal gets done over this weekend. I think they will negotiate, they'll get a little bit closer, but I do believe if a deal gets done, it's going to happen either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of this coming week. So, it's coming down to the wire, and we need to get a deal done. Also, what is being said is that there are more issues now than before. What we know is as these negotiations drag on, there's going to be more issues that arise. We know that. But here are some of the issues before us. These are some of the issues at hand that need to be addressed this weekend. First, and it's a new one, now we have the size of the stimulus check. Before, the size of the stimulus check didn't matter. That wasn't in these talks because essentially there was no stimulus check in these talks, which meant it was most likely going to pass. There were still some people that said they wouldn't support it, but as these negotiations drug on, people inserted stimulus checks back into the mix. Mitch McConnell was one of those people, and now it's being said that right now we don't know if it's going to be $600 or $1,200. We don't know who is eligible for these stimulus checks. And a third thing, and a big one, can people on unemployment still get a stimulus check? Because Republicans at this point are saying, no, we do not want people on unemployment getting unemployment benefits and the boost, and on top of that, a stimulus check. That's a no-go. Republicans say we need to fix the language to prevent this from happening. Again, how does this work? I have no idea. I think it's going to be a nightmare to actually implement, but that's what Republicans want to do. And we also have some issues with the unemployment benefits. Remember before, we had no issues with the $300 per week unemployment benefits. Everybody was on board. Now, it's not so much. Now, they're trying to figure out how long will this $300 per week unemployment boost actually last. Based on the most recent update, it's actually going to last 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Remember, it was 16 weeks just 1 week ago. On Monday, it was supposed to be 16 weeks of the federal unemployment extension and the federal unemployment boost of $300 per week. Well, now they're talking about 10 weeks. And the reason why is because, first, they only want to extend this about 13 weeks. Okay, 13 weeks. But Republicans want to put in some type of legislation. They want to put in the correct language to phase out these unemployment boosts beginning around the 10th week. Now, we keep on going smaller and smaller with unemployment benefits. Stimulus checks are slowly increasing, but they started out at $1,200, they went down to $600, then they went to $600 to $700. Now it's back to $1,200. President Trump wants $2,000. Man, it is crazy what is happening just this week. A deal was supposed to be done today. It's not going to get done. It's not going to get done today. Guaranteed it won't happen today because they've already done the stopgap bill, which means Congress is pretty much going to take their sweet time and try to get the American people the relief they need and they deserve. That's coming as fast as possible, according to Mitch McConnell, when honestly, it's not coming fast enough. People are down to their last dollar, pennies. Some people are splitting cans of soup to try to get by. These lines, the homeless shelters, the food lines, they're empty. They're empty with food, not empty with people. The lines drag on for miles in some cases. These lines, these homeless shelters, they have lines going down the street, but they don't have any room. There's also an issue with the extension of the eviction moratorium. I said this earlier today. This is a very hot topic right now. What we are being told is that Republicans and Democrats agree to that $25 billion for rental assistance. That's something they agree upon. Now, Democrats obviously want more. Republicans think $25 billion is more than enough. But Republicans are saying if we give you $25 billion in rental assistance, why do we need an extension to the eviction moratorium? The rental assistance should be more than enough to cover their back rents, and then people can stay in their homes. They won't get evicted. And it will be on those people, the tenants, to start to pay for the upcoming rents. Why do we need to step in and provide another 1 month or possibly 4 months, according to Democrats, of another eviction moratorium extension? They don't want to do that. Now, currently what's being debated is how long can this extension actually go on? How short can it be to provide some type of relief and to provide some type of protection while the government tries to issue this rental assistance? How can they do that? That's what's currently being discussed, is how far can Republicans stretch this? Instead of doing 1 month, because 1 month probably would have been pretty tight to get the money out within 1 month to millions and millions of Americans that are back on rent. But now they're saying, well, if 1 month is too much for Republicans, why don't we bring it down to maybe like 2 weeks? 2 weeks. It's crazy. There's also being talks about the eligible criteria for small business relief, the PPP funding. Originally, the PPP funding was $288 billion. It went up to $300 billion. And then earlier this week, it ballooned up again to $325 billion. Now, as a business owner, obviously I'm all for businesses getting the relief they need. But at the same time, now it's being discussed. how much of a decrease in revenue is acceptable? How much? But Republicans and Democrats are going back and forth. Also, can businesses double dip on this EIDL loan? If you don't know what that is, it's a $1,000 loan per employee that you would get. So if, let's say I have 5 employees, I could get this $5,000 loan, but the first $1,000 pretty much just comes to you and it's just free and clear. You don't have to repay it. It's just free money. Well, can people double dip? Also, Democrats want to prevent large companies from getting funds that they do not need without consequences. What happened in the first PPP funding program through the CARES Act, just any company could come in and pretty much get a loan, and as long as they spent the majority of that money on their lease, on employees, products, things like that to run their business, the whole loan would be forgiven. And we kept hearing that, oh, this senator's company or the company that he is an investor in, they got millions of dollars, right? Kanye West got millions of dollars. Tom Brady got millions of dollars, right? All these companies that probably didn't need the money got the money. So now it's being discussed, well, who can actually receive the money? Another hotly contested piece of legislation, is the Federal Reserve's lending program. I stated this before. This is going to continue to be an issue. Right now, Republicans want to cancel this lending program and absolutely close it down, which means when Joe Biden comes into office on January 20th, he will not be able to tell Janet Yellen, hey, let's open this program back up. Let's put in some more money. Let's print some more money. Let's get it open, and we will provide more lending to some companies. Well, Democrats are saying, no, let's not close this. Let's leave it open so Joe Biden has options. Republicans are saying, no, this was supposed to be a temporary fix. We've done what we've done. Let's close the program. It's supposed to close at the end of this year anyway. Let's just absolutely close it for good, and so you guys don't bring it back. Republicans are just worried that what's going to happen is Joe Biden's going to open up this program again, put another $500 billion, and now this stimulus package balloons up an additional $500 billion or possibly even more. They don't want that. But reports out earlier, and this is something I did a video on earlier today, where I talked about the $1,200 stimulus check is back. These are now back on the table, and here's one of the main reasons why. Democrats are considering trading this provision right here, for larger stimulus checks. This provision, the Federal Reserve's lending program, is probably going to cost right about $500-600 billion. So what if instead of $500-600 billion for these companies, we just give the American people an additional stimulus check for maybe $1,200? A $2,000 stimulus check like President Trump is wanting, or was reportedly wanting, we don't know for sure, but that right there would cost about $500 billion. So could we see a $2,000 stimulus check in exchange for this Federal Reserve lending program? It's possible. We don't know. What I can tell you right now is that this stimulus negotiation is going to drag on. And as it drags on, it's going to be bad. As more and more lawmakers get involved in this negotiation and get involved in trying to make a deal, it's going to make getting a deal almost impossible. Because everybody has a different agenda, everybody has different ideas, and it's going to make it difficult. So, this is also one of the reasons why our congressional leaders are trying to keep a tight lid on all the negotiations. They're trying to keep a tight lid on what they're talking about and who they're talking to. But this is also one of the reasons why the plan right now is to give the lawmakers just a few hours, before they vote on this bill to actually review it. A few hours. So if it happens, let's say Sunday at 1 o'clock p.m., they would most likely get this bill sometime early Sunday morning, get their hands on it, and they can review it. And the reason for this is so that they cannot pick it apart, and they will vote yes or no on this quickly after. If this happens, the chances of this package getting through is very likely. But what many people are worried about is by not reviewing something and voting on it, there's going to be pieces within this bill that some of the parties have no clue what they're voting on. And so pieces of legislation will just start popping up because they voted on it. And so now they're worried, well, if we don't have enough time, and this is one of the reasons why we didn't see a bill on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. It's not Friday. We're not going to see a bill because it's still not done. This is one of the issues. And it's a big issue. Now, whether this works or not is currently unknown. But what other choice do we have? Right now, this is what Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi are giving us. Can't do anything else. We're pretty much stuck with those two leaders deciding the fate of this country and the fate of our lives. So, I was hoping to have better news on this beautiful Friday evening. It's cold over here in Washington State, but I don't have much more information than that. Just want to thank you guys for watching today's video. I will come out tomorrow and do another video to keep you updated on any new things that we see, find, or hear about over the night and tomorrow morning. Just want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.